Hello, hello again. Hola. Hola. So, as you can tell, everything has changed since the last time I saw you. Now we're going to be jumping into the Life Hacks College Edition. Does anyone here want to go to college? Just raise your hand. All right. So I have a sweet surprise for you. And if you don't, that's also okay, because what we're going to go into here is to dig into people, students, that used to be in your shoes a couple of years ago. Now they're in college. Some of them have already graduated college, and other ones are also pursuing their master's degrees. But the amazing thing about every single individual who's going to go on the stage is that, like I told you earlier, they have a story to tell. And one of the things I asked them is just like, talk to me. I don't like superficial things. I think there's something good when we go a little deeper, right? When I get to know your story, when I get to understand you. It goes such a long way. So we're going to have fun. We're going to enjoy it. And at the same time, you're going to be able to learn from 4 different individuals that are going to share a little bit about their college experience, about life, lessons they've learned, lessons they didn't want to learn, kind of thing. So in a couple of minutes, I'm going to go ahead and step out. And then I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first speaker. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Valentina from UGA. Woo-hoo!
Hey everybody, how are you guys? Good? I'm glad to hear it. So my name is Valentina Suarez. I'm a student at UGA, but I'll get back to that. A little bit about myself. Soy venezolana. Is anybody from Venezuela? Woo! Okay. I'm also an alumni from Mountain View, so if you went to Mountain View, where are my Bears? Okay, go Bears! Let's go. I serve for HoPe now as a leadership coach, so shout out to my districts 3 and 9, where y'all at? Okay. So back to UGA, I'm a 4th year. I'm a biology major and a Spanish minor, so I'm graduating in May. The reason I chose to go to UGA is actually that I didn't choose to go there, or I did, but like it wasn't my first choice, and so with that, I would tell you to like keep an open mind because you never know where you're gonna end up. It might be the last place that you expected. And my life hack for UGA specifically is that it's about parking. So parking at UGA, guys, is very complicated. So I would urge you, if you remember anything from this talk, remember to read the signs. When I was a freshman, I got my car towed. So watch out for the signs, and that is my life hack for UGA.
All right. So now, as y'all can tell, I have an amazing individual joining me, Valentina. So let's give her another round of applause. Yay, yay. So Valentina, I am so excited to be here with you this morning. Valentina, we like to call her 2 things, right? So Doctora Suarez, and she'll tell you a little bit about that. But also we call her Little Dog. So Valentina, you shared a little bit about UGA, right? Tell me about your major and why you chose that.
So I chose biology because I always knew that I wanted to be a doctor. And so I was like, okay, well, how do I make that happen? And I realized that to be pre-med, like they tell you that you need to be a science major, but that's actually not true. So if you want to know more about that, definitely talk to me after. But I chose biology because it was like the major to be if you were pre-med. And looking back, maybe I would change that if I had the opportunity to do so, but I love bio and it's been a good time.
So we call her Doctora Suarez because, as you can tell, she wants to be a doctor, right? So I think a lot of times in life we have different experiences that shape who we are. Mm-hmm. Is there something that shaped the reason that you want to become a doctor? Was there like a moment that you were like, I don't know, I cut myself, or I fell, and I just knew that I knew how to heal, how to put a Band-Aid, how to take care of people? Was there something, like a moment that was just like, this is the reason why?
So more than just a moment, it was like a series of events. So my mom actually has an autoimmune disorder, so she has rheumatoid arthritis. And so as a child, I would go with her a lot to her doctor appointments. And that was before like she was super comfortable with her English and things like that. So I would kind of go as like to serve as like the mediator, the translator. And so I often had experiences with doctors, like I would talk to them a lot. And I thought it was really interesting how she would go in feeling one way and come out feeling another. And so I thought that care that doctors gave was really interesting because for me, it's really more about like caring about people. I think that's what draws me to medicine. So I guess it was my mom who just through helping her out, like made me realize I had that passion, and then I seeked it out more in high school to like see if that was something I really wanted to do.
That's awesome. And I think that's the beauty of life, right? Life is gonna hand you lemons, and you get to figure out what you do with them. You can make lemonade, or you can just create a dessert, whatever you want to do. And so I think there's a beauty in that you were able to experience that with your mom, have those moments, and then now, in a couple of years, Valentina is going to be Doctora Suarez. So now you know, just in case you ever go to un consultorio, and then you'll be like, Doctora Suarez, I know her. Valentina, this was a really serious question I asked the contestants, the panelists in the back. If you could eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? I know it's complicated, but just talk to me a little bit about that.
So yeah, this is a very complicated answer. Like I had to sit and think about this one, but I ultimately ended up choosing arepas. And the reason I chose that,
I knew it was gonna be arepa.
The reason I chose that is because arepas are so like diverse. Like you can fill them with different things, you know. So it wouldn't be the same food every day. Like I could fill it with chicken one day, with steak one day, with beans and cheese one day. So I could like switch it up.
Very, very cool. Valentina, you're in UGA, right? So what year are you going to graduate? Where are you at? What does your life look like?
So I'm actually graduating in May. I'm very excited about it.
Class of 2022?
Class of 2022, so if we have seniors.
Do we have any seniors in the house?
Class of 22.
We do, okay.
So yeah, I'm graduating in May. I'm very excited. It's been a long 4 years, and I'm ready.
And then you're going into med school after that. That's the goal, right?
So I'm taking a gap year, but then I should be applying starting in May.
Okay. What was the thing that surprised you the most when you went to college? You know, like you hear a lot of things, like this is the way it's gonna be, but what was that surprise thing? And what was that thing that was like super standard, like, okay, yeah, everybody told me it was gonna be this way. And then one thing that you're like, whoa, this was different. It could be anything.
I think what shocked me, and maybe this is just UGA or like most campuses, UGA is like really, really big. And I don't think I was expecting it to be that big. Like in high school, you get 6 minutes to like walk from class to class, and the classrooms like are across the hall. I knew college was gonna be big, and I knew it was gonna be like different buildings and stuff, but I never expected the campus to be like so large. Like you get 20 minutes to walk from class to class, because sometimes you're bolting from like North Campus all the way to South Campus. So I had to learn how to use those buses.
Did you ever get lost?
Oh, definitely. My first day, I was so scared because like I have this fear about like being late. Like I'm very much like attendance, and you know how like in high school like you get a tardy. You can't just like show up to class late. That's not really how it is in college.
How is it in college?
You can open the door, you pay for your classes, so you can come in at any time. In theory, you can miss classes. I wouldn't.
Because you're paying for them, right?
I'm paying for them, so I go to them. But like, you pay for them. So you're an adult, like you come into your classes whenever you want. They're not gonna lock the door on you unless you have like a really crazy professor.
So what does a typical day look like for you in college?
Typical day. This semester, I feel like my typical day changes every semester. But this semester, I've gotten into the routine of working out. So I wake up, I go to the gym.
Does anyone else work out in the room? Raise your hands. All right, I got a couple.
I just started, guys.
That's my goal, but I mean, I'm working on that one.
I literally just started.
So you wake up, you work out.
I go to the gym, and then I like to get to campus early to do, I find that doing schoolwork for me in the morning is best. I used to be like doing it at night, but I'm just too tired by the end of the day. I don't know what it is. I think it's like the walking around campus that really like tires you out. And so by the end of the day, like I like to go home and not really take school with me too much. I like to keep, it's about like keeping your environment separate. Like my room is my room for chilling out, and school is school for like studying and doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. We're gonna jump into a segment called Fast Five. So I'm gonna ask her 5 questions, and she has to answer it with 1 word or 1 sentence, okay? So what is the best advice you have ever received?
Best advice that I've ever received.
And it has to be quick.
Keep an open mind.
Keep an open mind. Okay. What is the worst college or just advice as a whole you have ever given or received? What's the worst one?
The worst advice I've ever received is always things that start with, if I was you, I would.
If I was you, I would. What is something that you valued once and you no longer value? Before it was just like, this is my thing, and you're like, not anymore.
Grades. Not that like I don't care about grades, I do, but that's not what it's all about.
Because there's more to it, right?
There's more to it. Definitely keep your grades up, guys, but
Grades don't define you, kind
They
of
don't
thing.
define you. You're not just a number.
What is a daily habit that you can't break? Like every day you wake up, but there's one thing that you must do.
Check TikTok.
Check TikTok. Okay, perfect. And then what keeps you going? I think we all have to have a why, right? Like, why do you keep going? Because some days are like, ay, qué pereza. I'm a little lazy. But like, what keeps you going, Valentina?
The end goal. Like, there are days that I really don't want to do it anymore. I'm tired. Te cansas. Like, it's been 4 years. But I remember the end goal. I think about my mom. I think about the reasons that I want to do things, and that brings me back. Keeps it full circle.
If you could give one lesson to everybody in the room, what would it be?
I'm going to go back to keep an open mind. Like, I'm the kind of person that, like, I came into college with a very closed mind. And so that made it very difficult for me to adjust, to make friends, to, like, get in the groove, especially because I didn't want to go to UGA. I came with this, like, negative mindset. But it's really what you make of it. You'll be fine wherever you end up as long as you're taking advantage of your opportunities and keeping an open mind.
So what's the mascot for UGA?
What's the what?
La mascota, the mascot.
Oh,
I know my accent.
Bulldogs.
You don't have the Bulldogs. Okay, is anyone a Bulldogs fan?
Guys,
Okay, we got a few in the
national
room.
champions in the house.
That's why we call her Little Dog, because she's a bulldog. And so let's give Valentina one huge round of applause. Thank you, Valentina. We appreciate you. We love you.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you. And now, we're going to go ahead and introduce the next speaker. So, it's going to be Ivan, and Ivan is representing Kennesaw State University. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good morning. My name is Ivan. I go to Kennesaw State University. I major in computer science. And the reason I chose KSU is because of their buffet. It's really good. If you ever visit KSU, please try out their buffet. It's one of the best in the country. I'm not even like trying to promote them because they're not paying me. But nah, the real reason why I chose KSU is because my high school counselor recommended it to me because they told me they have a good computer science department. And a life hack that I have for you is to buy a watch because, oh, it's upside down. Buy a watch because in college you will learn how to manage your time. And I mean, if you could get a digital or a smartwatch, that's a lot better, but any watch will work. In college, you will need to learn how to manage your time, and using a watch will make that a lot easier.
All right. All right, so our second guest is Ivan. Ivan, you shared something about the buffet, right? The Kennesaw has the best one. So what is it? Like, what's that one thing you go to every time you go to the buffet? Like, what's the thing that calls your attention?
Man, there's a lot of things, but I think the best thing that I've had is like this one time when I was eating healthy, I had a salad, right? And at the salad bar, they give you like this amazing cooked steak. It's only one time though that I went that they had that. So if you ever go and you get to have that steak, I mean, consider yourself lucky because I haven't been able to find it again.
Does anyone love steak here in the house? Yes, I am a steak lover. When we were with the volunteers this morning, somebody was talking about bacon. I was like, yes, bacon all the way. But let's get back to college for a second. Ivan, you said you are at Kennesaw State, correct?
Yeah.
Did you always want to go to college? Was it like, I'm going to go to college, period? Yes or no, and why?
That's a good question. I always knew I was gonna go to college, or I always had it in mind, but like I never had like a plan or like any kind of path to follow when going to college. So like when maybe my junior or senior year came, like I knew that it was time to start applying for scholarships, for college, etc. But I was like, okay, where do I start? Thankfully, that's around the time I got into HoPe, and I mean, thanks to this organization, I ended up in college, and I'm still in college. But yeah, that's how it went.
Ivan, in your opinion, why should someone go to college?
Man, you could learn so much. I mean, you you follow your career path, right, that you choose. You get to do something that you enjoy for a living. But you also learn just about the world around you. You just become more educated, and you feel smarter, you become smarter, and it's a great thing. It's a great feeling to have.
Very cool. So you say your major is IT.
It's computer science.
Computer science. Okay, see, what is computer science? Unpack that for me.
Ooh, man, it's a lot of things.
And where did you get that passion? It's like I asked Valentina, we have a doctora in the house, Doctora Suarez, and you want to do something with technology. So I'm like, unpack it for us so we can understand.
Yeah, so computer science is, man, it covers a lot of things. That's the great thing about the major. The funny thing that you mentioned about IT is I actually did come into KSU majoring in IT because I took AP Computer Science in my senior year of high school, and I was so bad at programming that like it discouraged me, and I said, I'm not gonna do this. This isn't for me. But then I don't know what happened. Something in that first week of college at KSU, I was an IT major, but you know, I guess me as a person, I like a challenge, and I knew that I enjoyed programming. So I said, you know what, let's go for the challenge. Let's do computer science and see how it goes.
So what does a computer scientist do?
A computer scientist,
Does that make sense?
Yeah. A computer scientist will do different things. What I'm focused on is becoming a software engineer, which is what most computer science graduates end up doing. Basically, what they do is if you open up your phone and you type anything, a software engineer pretty much built that.
So you design basically what's happening in the phones, maybe in the computers as well?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, speaking computer language, you do it.
That's awesome. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? 5, 7, 10 years? I know, like, one thing about Ivan is he loves learning. He's constantly, like, reading books, growing, developing. The Ivan I met a couple years ago is completely different from the Ivan he is today. So where do you see yourself in 5, 10 years? And you can describe it as much in detail as you could, or you want.
Okay, so yeah, I want to start my career in software engineering. Just to be completely honest with you, though, I don't think I will do it for 5 to 10 years. I mean, I might, but depends how much I like it. I really like doing this, like what I'm doing here on this panel, and to be able to do that as my job, to be able to be paid to do something like that, and specifically in the tech industry would be fantastic. So I think doing something like this, possibly management or I think they call it like product management, program management, anything like that, where I get to actually interact with people, I think will be where I really end up specializing in.
Very, very cool. So we've gotten the serious, the technology, Ivan. So Ivan, what's one of your hobbies or organizations that you got involved on campus that you enjoyed, or something that made you like get out of your comfort zone and connect with people in college?
Recently, like this semester, so KSU has an indoor soccer field.
Who likes to play soccer here? All right, okay.
Yeah, so KSU has an indoor soccer field that I always wanted to go to, but because of COVID and because of like just time, I just wasn't able to go to it. But this semester I started going to it, and man, it's a lot of fun going to there and playing soccer. Soccer is a cool thing, is a cool sport because you can just hop in, people will invite you. People are typically nice at this school. So they'll just invite you, let you play, and it's for anybody, right? They let boys and girls play, and it's a good time.
What are you most excited about once you finish college?
Getting paid, finally, man. It's, it's been a long time studying, man. It's like, what, going on 14, 15 years studying or more, and I'm ready to get paid.
What year would you graduate?
I would graduate May 2023.
May 2023. And where are you from, Ivan?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. My parents are from Puebla, Mexico.
Mexico. Is anybody from Mexico in the house?
Si se puede.
Eso. Looking back at your high school years, what's one thing you wish you would have done differently?
Man, it's a lot of things. I think becoming educated on the college process would have helped me a lot sooner. Probably even before high school, but if I was still in high school, yeah, becoming educated on the college process, trying to learn exactly what I want to do in my career, so that way I can start preparing for getting into the field. because what you'll realize is when you're actually, let's say you're a junior in college, and you haven't done any kind of preparation for
In college or in high school?
in
Junior,
college.
in college.
In
Okay,
college,
okay, okay.
yeah. Let's say you're a junior in college and you haven't done any kind of preparation to jump into your field. What you'll realize is you're competing with kids who have started, like some of them since high school, preparing for this moment. And they'll be ahead of you, and it'll suck because you'll be like, nobody told me to start preparing. So, I mean, that's why I'm happy to be here to tell you this. Really honestly, like, find what you want to do in your life. You don't have to know exactly, but try to get some idea, just work on that, get started there, and try to get started, try to learn something.
So we're gonna jump into the fast five. Okay, ready? This one's our super quick, one word, one sentence. You ready, Ivan? If you
Gotcha.
could eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Bananas.
Bananas. Anybody else? It's a healthy one over here. Why?
They're just so good, and yeah, that's it.
All right, no, hey, that's it, right. It's just one word, one sentence. What is the best advice anyone has ever given you? Best advice?
Be fearless.
Be fearless. Okay, wow. What is the worst advice anyone has ever given you?
My high school advisor told me I couldn't do it. I couldn't go to college.
Yeah, that's deep. What is a daily habit you always do? Like you have to do every single day. What's that one thing you have to do?
Let me think. What do I do every single day?
I mean, you wake up, you do something.
Oh, I have to always be organized. Always know what I'm gonna
I
do
hear you.
every day.
Organization, me too. If not, it drives me nuts. Okay, what keeps you going? What keeps that like fuel inside of you? What's that one thing that keeps you going?
It has to be my mom because she works like 7 days a week from like 8 to 4, and it's just been me and her ever since we grew up. And I mean, I've struggled with that. It's been tough. So seeing her struggle firsthand and then getting actual experience with working in an industry similar to hers, I mean, I know it's a struggle, and I wanna help her out and my family in Mexico, who, I mean, they're in a similar position. They're struggling as well.
No, and I'm sure your mom's proud of you, and I'm sure you're going to continue to make her even more proud. And we're so grateful to have you. Thank you, Ivan. You rock. Let's give Ivan a huge round of applause. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And then he'll be back to answer questions from the audience in a little bit. Thank you so much, Ivan. All right. Our next panelist is Ana Maria from Georgia State. Woo woo! Let's give her a round of applause. Woo!
Good morning. How's everyone doing? So my name is Ana Maria Villegas. I graduated from Parkview High School in 2017, a little long time ago, but that's all right. I attended Georgia State University. I majored in economics. I graduated in 3.5 years, and I also graduated debt-free. While I was in college, I held 4 part-time / internships, and now currently I work as a government and public service analyst at a company called Deloitte, which is one of the biggest accounting, auditing, and consulting firms in the world. My life hack, there are so many, I don't even know which one to choose. I would say my life hack, there's this website called Rate My Professors, and everyone in college uses it. So Rate My Professor, you go on there to check your professors that are listed under courses that you can register for, and you can see their reviews. A lot of the times you'll say like, amazing professor, I love them. Those are the ones you want to go for. But if it says something like, doesn't really teach, goes straight off the PowerPoint, very hard class, that's something you might want to consider. In my case, if it ever said, you have to write a lot of essays in this class, no, I would not take that class. So that is my life hack, college edition.
Woo! You see, okay. All right, Ana Maria, good to see you as always. Thank you for coming and being with us. We appreciate you tons. So thank you.
I'm so happy to be here. This is my treat.
Yeah. why did you choose Georgia State, right? The Panthers, right?
Yes.
So why did you end up going to this institution?
Honest answer, it's the only college I got accepted to. So I had no other choice. If it's either Georgia State or no college at all for that year.
Okay. You mentioned that you got out of college debt-free, and I think that's a really cool thing to be able to kind of dig into a little bit, right? I think going to college, it's a dream for a lot of us, and it's a good opportunity, but you also mentioned you were working, and then you were going to college. So tell me what was the key to like going into college, graduating, because the difference with Ana Maria is that she already graduated. So she's now a young professional actually in her career. So how did you end up being debt-free and graduating from college?
So I have to thank my dad for warning me that college was expensive. I remember when I was younger, he would always tell me education is the pathway to freedom, it's a pathway to a better life. However, I can't pay for it, so you gotta figure that part out.
Wow, yeah.
So he told me that when I was in high school and when I was really young. So I remember, I started thinking, how in the world am I gonna pay for college? So as soon as my high school counselors or high school teachers talked to me about HoPe, talked about Zell Miller, I already knew, like, I had to keep my grades up.
Yeah.
If I wanted to get that scholarship, I had to keep my grades up.
So the scholarship allows you to go into school, go to college, and they help you pay for it, correct?
Yes, exactly. And so then when I found out about Zell Miller, in Georgia, if you go to a public university or institution, they pay for 100% of your tuition if you have a 3.7 and above. And I think there's an SAT requirement, but I would have to check on the actual information on that. But then when I found out there were other scholarships, I applied
Ding,
for
ding, ding.
all of them. It was like, wait, you're saying that I write an essay, and if you guys like what I have to say, and you guys like my GPA, I get free money?
So Ana Maria, did you apply and every single one of them accepted you?
No.
No, right?
No.
But some did, right?
Yes.
Because I think that's part of the process, right?
Yes.
You apply, and then you knock on doors, and some of them were actually open.
Exactly. I think my first year going into college, I only got 2 scholarships outside of Zell Miller. And those 2 scholarships, they helped me pay for my books. I was a commuter, so I saved my money for gas money as well. Also meals, because I chose to stack all my classes in 2 days. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Can you unpack that for me a little bit, right?
Sure.
So you said I chose my classes in 2 days, but usually in high school you go Monday through Friday, 6-ish to 3:30-ish, depending on the school. So what does that mean in college? Like, how do you choose your schedule? Like, what does that look like?
So I think Ivan touched on it. In college, you will learn how to time manage. You do have the luxury in college to pick your classes, and that also comes with picking your professor, but it also comes with picking the day and the time of the class, right? I knew that I had financial obligations outside of my education that I needed to fulfill. So I made the personal decision to stack all of my classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That way I had Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays completely free to work a job if I needed it, which I did. So that's what I chose. You know, it's whatever you guys feel works with your schedule. Let's say you want all morning classes, you can do all morning classes. Let's say that you hate mornings, that's me, and you prefer later, like in the afternoon, you can pick all your classes to be in the afternoon, but that freedom is up to you, and of course, class availability.
Very, very cool. Ana Maria, tell us what your major was, or what you graduated in, and why you chose that major.
Okay, this is like one of my favorite stories. So I graduated with a bachelor's in economics and a minor in Spanish. When I got to college, like, absolutely not. Like, there's no way I would have majored in economics. I took AP Macro in high school, and I remember thinking, like, what? Who majors in this? This is so boring. Like, this is terrible. I went into college as a business major, but like undecided. I really didn't know what was out there.
Yeah.
When I got into my freshman year, first semester, I had to take a microeconomics course for my prerequisites, which are the courses that you have to take before you start taking your major courses.
Yeah.
And my professor at the time with that class, he explained economics in a way that completely fascinated me. He explained in a way that economics is the art of decision making. If you understand the principles of economics, you can make well-informed and good decisions. And so I was thinking like, whoa,
You're like,
whoa.
wait, is this the same
Hold
class
on.
that I took before? Like,
Exactly. Yeah. And then they also mentioned that you have a limited amount of resources and you always want to get the best outcome. So that's when I started thinking, and this is when my first gen background really came into play.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second, I have limited resources, but I still want the best outcome, right? Like I don't have financial resources. I don't have the knowledge of how to get to where I want to get. I don't have necessarily like all the support that maybe my other American student like counterparts would have, right? So I was like, if I can learn how to make the best decisions based off of economics, based off studies, research, like years of research, I want to know how to do that. That's what I want to do. And that class completely changed my mind. After that class, I started looking up what career paths you could take with economics. I started looking at the economic programs at my university, and I switched over. And to this day, I love economics. Like, don't ask me any more economics questions, because I will be here all day.
I can tell, but that's a good. You're passionate about what you do. Looking back at your high school years, what's one thing you wish you would have done differently or told yourself?
In high
Because
school?
right now, yes. So as you can tell, we have amazing high school students here. And they have a great opportunity, which is to be here, right? To get to hear from you, the rest of the panelists. So what's one thing you wish you would have done differently or somebody would have told you?
I'm pretty sure someone did tell me, I just didn't listen. But I want everyone in this room to know that everything is going to be okay. Take everything one day at a time. I'm working on it, but I'm the type of person that likes to plan ahead and look at the future and look at a lot of things at once. And I always stress myself out. Like when I was in your shoes in high school, like how am I gonna pay for college? What am I gonna study? What am I gonna do? How am I gonna do this?
Yep.
And my head was big and I was really like scared and anxious. But you know what? Like if someone could have told me, relax, it's going to be okay. One day at a time, take a deep breath and take everything that you have in your head one piece at a time. That would have really helped me a lot with the way that I felt on the inside.
One thing at a time, yeah. Powerful. We're gonna go ahead and jump into the Fast Five.
Okay.
So Ana Maria, what is one hobby that you do? In one word or one sentence, like how do you de-stress per se? What's that thing you go to?
I actually train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is a mixed martial arts.
Jiu-jitsu. Does anyone do jiu-jitsu here?
Yeah, does anyone do Jiu-Jitsu
Okay,
here?
all right. There we go.
Okay. I found Jiu-Jitsu.
One word, one sentence. Remember, just
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu.
Awesome. If you could eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Mangoes.
Mangoes. Yes, I told you. I'm like, yes, I'm right there with you. What is the best advice anybody has ever given you?
One day at a time.
One day at a time.
One day at a time.
Now, what's the worst advice anyone has ever given you, or you have given someone?
The worst advice
Yeah.
is probably like everyone tries to tell you that the first 2 years of college doesn't matter because of your prerequisites, but they do matter because I'm an example right here. I found my passion through my prerequisites. Every opportunity is an opportunity to learn, so don't think any opportunity is lesser than another one.
Yeah. Now, last question. What keeps you going, right? You mentioned I didn't have everything that everybody else did. I knew that I had to figure out a way to pay to college. So what keeps your flame alive, per se? What keeps you going? What fuels you?
So I'm gonna try to keep this quick because it's rapid fire.
30 seconds.
Okay.
No, but go ahead.
At the beginning, when I was in your shoes and before I graduated college, my why was for sure my parents, right? However, now that I've graduated college and I'm a young professional, I'm gonna say the truth. My why is you guys. Because I remember how I felt when I was in your shoes. And now I'm looking back at all of the barriers that I broke and I'm like, wow, like that's incredible. I wanna make sure that everyone in this room doesn't feel the way that I felt and they know what I wish I would have known. I wanna be the person that I needed when I was younger. That's my why now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Ana Maria.
Thank you, guys.
And as you all know, you'll be able to ask your questions in a little bit. I appreciate you, and I can't wait to see the questions ahead. Thank you. All right, what a treat. I think we could stay with them for the whole day. Next up, we have Octavio. Octavio went to the University of North Georgia, and now he's in Valdosta pursuing his master's degree. So give it up for Octavio!
What's up, y'all? I like doing karaoke, so I'm gonna hold my mic like this. So my name is Octavio Aguado. I went to Appalachia High School. Anybody from Appalachia? Nobody. Yep, it's in Barrow County, y'all, rural area. So I did go to the University of North Georgia. I'm currently now in Valdosta State, about 4 hours from here, doing my master's. And I lived on campus at UNG in Dahlonega. Good time, met some good friends. And life hack is take some risk. Take some risk with meeting new people and just taking new classes. And I took 2 study abroad trips. I went to Botswana, South Africa, La República Dominicana. Okay. Pretty area over there, pretty. And so just take some risk. It might cost some money, but find a way to do it. So y'all.
All right, Octavio, you said you love karaoke, is that correct?
I do love karaoke. I'm not the best, y'all, but I do
What's
it.
your go-to song when you're doing karaoke?
So when I have my friends up there, Selena, any song from Selena is my go-to.
Like Selena or like?
Selena.
So a bidi bidi bamba kind of thing?
Bidi bidi bamba,
Okay.
yes.
Well, what was that? You gotta say, I think maybe at the end, look, Octavio, they get to ask questions in a little bit when we all go over there. So, hey, if they ask you to sing, we might have to make it happen.
Later.
Very cool, Octavio. So, we've had amazing panelists here, and we're so grateful that you're also here. We had Doctora Suarez, Valentina, and she is undergrad. And then we had Ivan, he's also undergrad. Ana Maria, she is a professional. And you have already gotten your bachelor's degree, and now you're pursuing your master's degree. So what I want to know is, where did you go undergrad, right? Where did you get your bachelor's degree, and what? And then what are you doing now, and why are you pursuing your master's? Is that a packed question? You got it? You got this, Octavio. Okay.
So yeah, I went to University of North Georgia. I was a bio major over there, just like Vale. But I wanted to go more into research, and I did want to go to med school at some point. But then I felt like I was doing it just for myself. I wasn't just doing it for the people around me or my family. And so I completed my bachelor's, 4 years, and enjoyed it for sure. And I learned a lot about just being a student in college. And so then I moved up to—
So what did you get your bachelor's in?
Biology.
Biology. Okay, that was okay.
And biology. And I learned a lot, I had a good GPA. But then I need to know what I wanted to do next, since I didn't want to go to med school anymore. I put in an application for med school, but then I withdraw it. So
then you decided to pursue your master's?
Yes, I did a master's. I'm currently in my last semester of my master's program in higher education leadership. Hopefully go into research later on.
Very cool. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, definitely still in college, but working at a college setting.
Okay.
As a director, for sure.
Very, very cool. Looking back at your high school years, what's one thing you wish you would have told yourself?
In high school?
Yes, in high school.
I wish I kept doing football. I did football my last year of middle school.
So does anyone play football here? All right, I see you have some hands. Okay.
Some football players out there. And so I wish I kept doing football because I like being active. Wish I could have got more into bodybuilding. I still could go to the gym in the mornings, but I wish I kept going to football practice.
Why did you decide to go to college?
So I was part of HoPe, and I was like, I want to go to college too, and I just enjoy learning. That's one of my strengths, just learning from everybody. And so I had to go to college and just really do something different. I was working construction, working in Saxby's. I needed to find a different pathway, to get a different career other than in food industry and construction, do something different.
What is your favorite and least favorite thing about the colleges you've attended? And you could choose either undergrad or the one that you're at. What was your favorite thing about that college, and what was something that you didn't enjoy as much?
So my favorite thing was really making the community, and having friends around me. My friend Selena, Max, Adrian, there's a big part of my journey in college, and just supporting me, because you need that support. And the worst thing,
Yeah.
that's
Or
a
the
tough
least
one.
favorite thing,
The
right?
le-
It could be food, it could be the parking, because I think for the majority of colleges, parking can be a hassle. But was there something, or if there's nothing, that's okay too.
Yeah, so
Your least favorite thing.
there was definitely a lot of Greek life organizations, and that was a big thing, but I just didn't want to join a Greek life organization. So that can be one side. A lot of people pressuring you to go join Greek life. And so that pressure, to, be somebody that you're not,
Yeah.
but you're not really. And so that's a pressure that was always on my mind.
Yeah. So being able to have your social group, individuals that you could connect with, but without pressure that you had to join this certain community or a fraternity per se. Very, very cool. Have you ever done any type of internships?
I've not done any internships, It was mainly just small jobs I had on campus as a resident assistant. And so that helped me pay for my college experience, because I lived on campus.
Tell me a little bit about that. What helped you pay? Dissect it.
So
You said you were is it an RA?
RA.
A resident assistant. What does that mean, though? When you're in high school, you know what that is, right? Because you haven't been there yet. So what do you do, and how does that help you pay for college?
Yeah, so an RA basically helps to help connect the students who are living on campus, be like a mentor. You're a mentor for other students, and an educator for the students, and just help them transition from high school to college. Because you're always living with your parents right now, but once you're in college, you're yourself, and you have a roommate if you live on campus. And so sometimes you're helping with roommate conflicts, and you got to help them solve them as a resident assistant. And so that helped pay for my college experience for housing, and then some scholarships with Gozeta.
You got the Goizueta scholarship?
Yes.
So David and I are also Goizueta scholars. Seniors, if you don't know, Goizueta is a scholarship that is available in different institutions. And I see a couple of people kind of raising their hands. It's such an amazing institution. It's such a powerful and amazing family. So if you're a senior, think about Goizueta and then look it up, or go to our education table and get more information on that. There are so many opportunities. Ana Maria touched on this about scholarships. And right here, we're talking about it again with Octavio. There's a will, there's a way. And so making sure that you're doing that as well. What you're saying.
Yeah, and then I was working in Saxby's, and so they gave me a $500 scholarship just for working in Saxby's during the summer. And so I had to work at least 20 hours each week during the summer to get that scholarship. And so that really helped me pay my college experience throughout my 4 years at UNG.
Yeah, very cool. So we're gonna jump into the Fast Five, okay? So these are a lot faster, one word or one sentence, okay? If you could eat something for the rest of your life, what would it be?
It has to be tacos. Tacos de lengua, de carnitas, de todo.
Anybody else, if you could eat something for the rest of your life, you would pick tacos? Okay, we got
Everybody,
a few. Okay.
everybody.
A few, okay? But a good majority of them, yes. Okay. What is the best advice you have ever received?
The best advice. So definitely not doing everything for yourself. You have to know that you're doing it for the people around you.
So being able to do something not just for yourself, but for others as well.
Yes, you have to make an impact for the people who are in your community, for your Hispanic community. You need to know how to really embrace your community, for sure.
What is a daily habit that you do? Something you do every day, like you must do it.
So I at least go to the gym in the mornings, and with that, I like to do a devotional at the same time after my gym workout.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. What keeps you going, Octavio? You went to high school, you went to college, you're still in college because now you're pursuing your master's. What is that fuel that keeps you going?
So I have faith, faith that there's barriers in the way. And so my dad works in construction, building concrete walls. And so I just imagine that wall, you know, and just knowing like there's always something light coming towards your way.
There's light coming towards your way? Mm-hmm. Very, very cool. So there's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way.
There's always a way, yeah.
All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and close this part of it. In a couple of minutes, then the rest of the panelists are gonna join me on stage, and that's when y'all are gonna be able to ask them questions. Again, if you wanna hear Octavio doing karaoke, I mean, that's up to you. You'll be able to ask. So in a couple of minutes, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the other stage, but let's give Octavio another round of applause. Thank you, Octavio. All right. Yeah, that's perfect. Or we could scoot a little bit more. Right. There we go. I think that's perfect. All right. So now we're all over here. Let's go ahead and grab a seat. And then now it's when, you know, a couple of minutes ago, I've been able to chat with all of them. Over there, we got some fun questions. And now we want to be able to open the floor to you. What's on your mind? What questions do you have? And you can either ask specifically to like Valentina, to Ivan, to Ana Maria, to Octavio, or you could just say, anyone that wants to answer this question, that would be awesome. So I already see a hand. I'm going to go ahead and we have amazing Ashley and Elizabeth that are going to be going around and going to you if you have a question. So if you do, go ahead and raise your hand. I see one here. And then if we could go ahead and have the next person as well with the mic. Okay, let's jump into that.
My name is
See? Okay.
My name is Camila Lopez. I'm from Buford High School. I have a sister that's in KSU. I want to ask a question to like one of the KSU students.
All right, KSU. Go ahead.
Did anything surprise you when you got into that college? Did anything like when you got in, you're like, oh, like this is new, I didn't know this, or like did anything surprise you, like in the beginning?
I think what continues to surprise me is like how nice the students are. When you're new, especially when you're like a first-gen student, you can be intimidated really easily by just all these new faces, and especially if you don't know anybody. But every time that at least from my experience, I'll tell you, every time that I've had a conversation with somebody, they've all been really nice, they've all been really open to have a conversation, and if you want to, you can even be friends with them. So I think it's like, it's part of the KSU culture maybe, or my luck, I don't know, but it's been...
So KSU or his luck, now we know.
They've been nice, yeah.
Awesome, thank you. All right, go ahead, next question. Because we have a few minutes, so I want us to be able to jump on them. Go ahead.
This one's for Ana Maria. What was your favorite and least favorite thing about Georgia State?
Favorite and least favorite thing about Georgia State?
Least favorite thing is getting there. I commuted from Lilburn, Georgia to Atlanta, Georgia. That traffic was terrible. I also drove a stick shift, so that was even worse.
Oh my goodness.
That was pretty bad. My favorite thing about Georgia State is that no one looks like anyone. It is so diverse. Actually, it's the #1 most diverse university in the country. So there's so many people of so many different nationalities. Walking down like to class, I actually heard people speaking Spanish, which was something new that I wasn't used to in high school. So I was like, man, I love it here. Like I can find my Hispanic friends. I minored in Spanish, and in my Spanish classes, there were so many people of all different backgrounds learning Spanish, and I made friends with so many people from all over the world.
And then your least favorite, right? Because you said favorite and least favorite.
Well, least favorite was the traffic part.
And favorite was the diversity.
The diversity of everyone at Georgia State.
Escuchaste español and you're like, yes, I'm in the right place.
Yes.
Very cool, thank you. Who's next? Questions? Okay, over here, go ahead. And you can say your name, what school you represent, that'd be awesome.
My name is Fabian Bonilla. I'm from Sajugana High School, and to, I believe, Ana Maria. I am particularly interested in economics, either in Georgia State or UGA at the moment. And I wanted to ask, what is the most challenging thing in majoring in economics, like your classes or just like overall?
Most challenging thing in econ.
There is one class called econometrics, and even the name of that class sounds pretty scary. But econometrics, everyone that was already a econ major had kind of warned me about it. So with my life hack that I shared previously, I made sure that I got a professor that was a good professor for the hardest class in my coursework, and he was an amazing professor. that class has lots to do with numbers. That's more of like the math part of economics. But other than that, it's just like, you want to really, like, economics is really simple if you just kind of think about it in the big, grand scheme of things. If you start to focus on like the tiny little details, things might not actually make sense. So like shifting your perspective in order to understand the study and the discipline, I think is challenging, but a really good part of economics.
So making sure your professors are the right ones. Going back to your life hack, rate my professor. You can find out about the professors ahead of time, and that helps you to be able to navigate the classes that are a little bit more tough and make sure that you're able to excel at them. Thank you, thank you. Who's
Thank you
next?
so much.
Question. I see a hand back there too. He's been having his hand up for a while. Okay, but we have that one, and then we can go. Okay. Go ahead.
My name is Irene Alcantara, and I'm representing Roswell HoPe.
Can you put it up a little bit, the mic?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So how do you guys like deal with burnouts or like self-doubt in your like majors? Like
How do you deal with burnout, right? Is that
yeah,
it?
or like
Okay.
if you don't have like a direction and you're just starting out, like how do you find that direction?
So how do you deal with burnout, or how do you find that direction if you're not sure like where you're headed? Is this for a specific person, or do you want anyone to? Anyone? Okay.
I'll say to deal with burnout is one thing I read from this book that I read like 2 semesters ago is to try to dedicate at least one whole day just for yourself, right? So you get to do whatever you want to do for that whole day, right? Whatever makes you happy, if it's getting ice cream or going to your favorite restaurant, watching your sport, anything like that. Try to have at least one day a week where you do that. And at the minimum, if you can't do that, then at least make it like an evening or an afternoon, morning, whatever day works. And how to handle not knowing, you said not knowing where you're going. I think none of us really know where we're going. I mean, you can have an idea, right? But you'll run into that a lot where people don't really know what they're doing. And it's normal. I mean, I think it's something that you just gotta like live with and just take life as it comes.
Yeah, thank you. All right, more questions. Go ahead. So when you're ready, you can go ahead and stand up and ask away.
Okay, so my name is Cassandra, and I'm from Habersham. And my question is for Valentina. So you said that you went into college, especially UGA, you went into UGA with a closed mind. So what was like one thing or a few things that made you want to stay at UGA?
So UGA is a PWI, so that means it's a primarily white institution. And that, I think, scared me a little bit. Finding that community at UGA is what made me want to stay. Latinos there are 5% of the population, but when you get to know them, we're like a really tight-knit group. They're super awesome. I think it's just finding your particular community. And they have really cool dining halls, and they have, other fun things. I'm taking a ballroom dance class right
Ooh
now.
la la. We're gonna have to do like a talent show with the panelists at another time. We got karaoke, we got ballroom dancing, jiu-jitsu, what is it?
Jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu, there we go. Ivan can play soccer. I mean, we're talented over here.
Yeah, so it's just trying all the different things that they had that made me say, okay, I'm gonna give this place a try.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, community is so important in college. All right, who's next? Go ahead.
Hi, Luis from Parkview. What was the hardest first hurdle for y'all when y'all entered in college?
Yeah, so just looking for friends. I was the only Hispanic in my hallway. And so I had a roommate who was a supporter of the Confederate flag and got to love video games. So just find a way to talk to them and understand roommates. That was hard for me. And so I really had to know how to have those conversations. So that was pretty challenging for me.
No, and I think, Octavio, you hit a good point. I think wherever you go, everyone's not going to be like you, and that's okay. I think we can all agree to disagree and find areas where we can relate to each other. Because I am 100% sure that I can relate somehow with every single one of you in this room. There's always a common piece that all of us have. Sometimes it takes a lot longer to figure it out with some people, but that doesn't mean that you don't have the opportunity to get to know people. So that was really, really good. I think our time is actually up, and I think it just feels like we were just getting started, but it's just like we've had really good conversations. Throughout the day, as you know, we do have the education table. Cesar is there, he's the director of education. We're about to go into a break as well. So if y'all have any questions and y'all want to hang out a little bit and answer questions for the students, I'm sure that we'll be more than happy to do that as well. But as a thank you for coming, we want to put a smile on your faces. So if you want to pass one down. So thank you guys for coming. We got a gift for you from Amazon. So if you want to pass, there we go. They got stuck. I'm sorry, Valentina. But let's give them a huge round of applause. Thank you so much. Y'all have been wonderful. And now what's going to happen is you have a 30-minute break.